And it's not because it was easy. It was not easy. Something about achieving difficult things feels good. It boosts your self-worth. It boosts your self-confidence. It makes you realize, wow, there's a lot more possible than I realized.
Because had people lived a life true to themselves, I bet you hard work would have been fulfilling. Kevin and I work so hard at this, but it fulfills us. The toughest climbs lead to the best views. You could ask Kevin, you could ask me, you could ask our team.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode with Kenflo Florian. Today, for episode number 861, it's Motivation Monday. The toughest climbs lead to the best views. Alan had a story that went with this topic, so let's start with you.
So last weekend, Emilia and I went up to Maine, and you've probably heard a little bit about that. So we're taking promo videos for the annual retreat. We'll be doing a specific retreat every single year from now on, Next Level annual retreat.
That's right.
And this one is up in Maine. It's this beautiful mansion. Our dear friend and client, Dr. Taryn McCarthy, is the venue, and it's going to be unbelievable. But we went up there, Emilia and I, and we stayed the weekend, and they have a little side suite that we stayed in. And Kevin came up, and we took promo content for the video for that. And on Sunday, while Saturday and Friday were kind of working days, we took Sunday to go on an adventure. Adventure is one of the core values of Emilia and I's relationship, more so her than me, but it's a together thing, and it's something that I wanted to do for her, but also for us. And so what we did is we went on a hike. We asked Dr. Taryn and her husband, what are good hikes around here? And they gave us several different options. And one of them was Bradbury Mountain. And I got really excited. It was only a mile down the road. We started driving there, and we get there. We have these spikes on our boots, and we're ready to hike this mountain. Emilia and I are having a blast. We're laughing, and we rarely take the days for just us. And so it's really special when we do, especially when it's not just home optimization or projects or things like that. So we're super excited for this adventure. We're laughing, we're joking. It's awesome. We're climbing this mountain, and these spikes, Kev, they work unreasonably well.
I believe
you can go right up the ice on these things. LL Bean, I think. Spikes lock right on your boots. Great. So we're climbing up this mountain, and we're thinking, okay, we've got like a half-hour hike ahead of us. We're up at the top in it felt like 10 minutes. It was probably maybe 15. And when we got to the top, we were a little surprised, and we were like, okay, that was awesome, but that was kind of quick, and it wasn't quite as good of a workout as we wanted, but the view was really incredible. And you could see all the way around 360 degrees. It was unbelievable. We took a bunch of photos. They're on my Instagram if you want to look, but it got me thinking, and it's why we're doing this episode today. The toughest climbs lead to the best views. Now, this is a beautiful view, but it is not the most beautiful view I've ever seen. Early in my snowboarding life, my mom's best friend, Tammy, has a condo on Sugarloaf Mountain. For those of you who have been to Maine and have snowboarded or skied at Sugarloaf Mountain, they call it one big mother. Thing's huge. And the view at the top of that mountain is tremendous in comparison to Bradbury Mountain. And so it got me thinking about this simple analogy for each and every one of our listeners and viewers. The toughest climbs lead to the best views. Climbing up Sugarloaf Mountain would have been far more challenging, probably far colder. There would have been much more obstacles. It would have been a lot longer. It would have had to take an investment of far more time. Bradbury Mountain was only 10, 15 minutes. And while the view was beautiful, it wasn't nearly as beautiful as the top of Sugarloaf. And so it's a good analogy for life to realize that there's two roads always, and Kevin used to say this all the time. There's the right one and the easy one. And I was talking about this on book club earlier. All of us have these moments of truth where our highest self is saying, you know what? You have a choice right now. There's the right choice and there's the easy choice. So this Motivation Monday is, how often are you taking the easy road? And do you realize that you're never going to see more magnificent views in your life if you don't proactively choose the more challenging but far more rewarding roads?
I think of the thought I have when I think about this is, you'll hear a lot of people say that was easy. That was super easy. But not often do you hear somebody say that was easy and it was my favorite or it was the best or I'll remember that forever. That's not usually how it goes. I'll never forget, Alan and I were in Florida and Taryn was with us. I think it was just me and you at the time. We went to Florida for Your World Within Live. It was an event that we co-hosted with Eddie Pinero. And the week was just brutal. It was brutal. I was driving to the airport to pick people up, and you and I were going. I remember we were pulling into the parking garage under this unreasonably nice hotel. It was called Margaritaville. We were on the 11th floor on the venue stage, overlooking the ocean. It was wild. There was like a pool up there and everything. It was wild. And I'll never. Pre-COVID. This was 2018, I think. And 2019?
Yeah, 19.
2019. We were pulling under the hotel into the parking garage. And I remember Alan said, Kev, just imagine in 5 years, you'll be coming to places like this, but you won't be driving. You don't have to do any of the work. You'll just show up and there'll be a stage and you'll get to speak. And I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, that'll be really awesome because this is brutal. Not sleeping, going down there and doing the prep, not having any clue how any of this was going to work. Us driving 2.5 hours to go meet Catherine Nash because she was going to come speak, and we had to basically convince her to speak because she didn't know she was going to speak yet. And it was awesome because Taryn was down there, but I was super unresourceful, and we were going to the gym every night. We went to the gym with Alex Hinkle a couple times. It was just brutal. It was so brutal. That entire event was so brutal. The day of, I was terrified speaking on stage with Eddie Pinero and Evan Carmichael. And I'll never forget when we were flying home from that, Evan Carmichael said, Kev, if you really want to prove yourself, if you really want to get outside your comfort zone, you should take a video when you're taking off because the takeoff is my biggest fear. That's the thing I hate most about flying. Taking off does not make sense to me. It does not. I don't understand how it works. You leave the ground way too soon. It doesn't make any sense. And I remember shooting that video. And when I was shooting that, I was like, my goodness, I cannot believe we just had the week that we had. I had the same thing when we were flying home from a Brendan Burchard event, the first Brendan Burchard event I ever went to, when I was having panic attacks the week before, and I had such bad anxiety while we were there that I couldn't even eat at times because I thought something was stuck in my throat. I had never had anxiety before. And I'll never forget after that 3-day event, I think it was probably a week in total where we were out there, flying home, and I was crying. I was literally crying to myself in my seat when we left because I was so proud of what we had done. And it's not because it was easy. It was not easy. Something about achieving difficult things feels good. It boosts your self-worth. It boosts your self-confidence. It makes you realize, wow, there's a lot more possible than I realized. And like Alan said, that's the goal from this episode. Look back on the most rewarding times you've ever had and connect to what that was. It probably wasn't something super easy. People take pictures after they cross the line at the marathon. Why? Because running 26.2 miles is probably pretty brutal. I cannot say because I've never done it, nor do I plan to. So the question I have for you is, when you look back in your future and you connect all the things that you're the most proud of, do you connect the fact that those things were difficult? Do you connect to the fact that maybe you didn't believe you could do them? Maybe the challenge was, at the time, more than you thought you could handle. And if so, are you still practicing that today? I think a lot of us run from hard. We run from difficult, but on the other side of hard, on the other side of difficult, I think is pride. And I genuinely believe that.
Same. And more important than pride is self-worth.
Yeah.
Powerful, Kev. I really, it was nice to reminisce on that because that was a really challenging time for me as well. And again, the most rewarding ever. I remember being in the water. I'll be quick about this. I remember being in the water. We had already spoken. And I remember looking up at the 11th floor where we just were, where we co-hosted our it was our second event ever, but first really big one. The first one was fairly small. And I remember looking at the boardwalk and I just fell into the water, and it was like bathwater because it's Southern Florida. And it was like, holy crap, we did it. And that was nothing short of challenging. But again, the toughest climbs lead to the best views. And the last thing that I want to say here is something that I ended the very first event that Kevin and I co-hosted with Joyce, shout out to Joyce Strong, was called the Confident Women's Consortium. And at the very end of my speech, I had this one slide with way too much text in hindsight, and I just read off the slide, which, as a speaker, you're not supposed to do, so I wouldn't do that now. But I'm gonna tell you guys and gals, I want to say that more. Guys and girls. Whenever I say guys, I always mean guys and girls, by the way. But I'm going to read it to you now, and by read it to you, I'm going to imagine it in my mind. The last slide of my speech said this. It said, I do not wish for you to have an easy life. I wish for you to have an unreasonably challenging but deeply meaningful life. And what I should say is unreasonably deeply meaningful. A very, very meaningful life that matters to you. And to Kevin's point here, if you were to look back on the things that you're most proud of, the things that fulfill you the most, I'd be willing to bet, because this is just a part of the human condition, they were most likely some of the most challenging things. There is a connection between challenge and meaning. And the very last thing before we go here, I remember we were on the mic with Bronnie Ware. She wrote one of my favorite books called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And the number one regret of the dying is I wish I had lived a life true to myself and not what others expected of me. And the second one is I wish I hadn't worked so hard. And I said, Bronnie, do you think number 2 is because of number 1? Because had people lived a life true to themselves, I bet you hard work would have been fulfilling. Kevin and I work so hard at this, but it fulfills us. The toughest climbs lead to the best views. You could ask Kevin, you could ask me, you could ask our team. 855 or whatever it is episodes every single day of the Hyperconscious podcast and then Next Level University has been so challenging. But every single one of those episodes was so deeply meaningful. And so that's what today is. It's been a tough climb, but the toughest climbs lead to the best views.
And when you get a new view, you have a new perspective, and a lot of times you have a new awareness. So we're talking about an event we co-hosted. March 26th, 2022, Worcester, Mass. We have just booked the venue. We are doing it at the AC Marriott in Worcester. Worcester is a very, very nice city now. They have done so much work to Worcester to make it the beautiful city that it is now, and we are very excited to bring an event to it. So it's myself, it's Alan, it's Dr. Taryn McCarthy, and it's the one and only Tori Aletto speaking. It's going to be a half-day event. We've made some changes due to COVID. But again, as much as hosting and speaking at events has changed my life, sitting in the crowd watching the people on stage has also changed my life, probably more, honestly, whether it's Brenda Burchard or us going to Arizona to Nick Cavuto's event. Like, those things really changed my life. If you want 2022 to be the best year of your life, you have to do something different. Now, if you're local, I think this is an easy go. It's going to be valuable for sure. The tickets are cheap, and you can drive there, meet some new people in the area, and connect with them for life. This event will change your life, but you have to be there for it to happen.
Bianca reached out to me yesterday. She said, I just heard your episode about the Next Level annual event and the Next Level Live. Give me a ticket to both. So we don't have the landing page done. You need to DM myself or Kevin immediately for Next Level Live or the annual retreat. We are only selling 10 tickets total to the annual retreat. I think 4 of them are couples price, and then because there's beds with 2 people for couples, and then there's 6 that are, but no more than 10 total. So reach out to me or Kevin immediately if you want to go to the annual retreat. And if you want to go to Next Level Live, again, it's March 26th. It's coming up quick. It's from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. We do provide a continental breakfast and coffee and all that good stuff. And you'll leave with a workbook with actual, tangible, engineered redesigning of your life to make this the best year of your life. Reach out to Kevin or myself. The tickets are only $97 a piece. We will not be selling one ticket over 50. This is only 50 people. Because of COVID, we have to keep it very, very small, and we will not be taking one more person above 50. So reach out immediately so we can put you on the list. We have a specific list, and we'll get you a ticket as soon as possible.
Next Level Nation, tomorrow for episode number 862. It is last week's live podcast, Finding Perspective in the Journey. We are blessed because we get to do that every single day when we record these episodes. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at Next Level University, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.
Bye.